Hello everyone. Today I have started working on the ship-to-shore crane or container gantry crane over in my cargo harbor, and this is a mocking up phase, M-O-C-K, not M-O-C, where I'm just figuring out the size of everything and the overall proportions of the thing. So no concern given to structure, no concern really to realism. Nothing really matters at this point. Color doesn't matter. Thickness of these beams doesn't matter. Exact placement doesn't matter. Nothing matters at this point except for the size. I'm just figuring out the size of the thing, what size it needs to be in order to give me enough room to allow rail cars in, to be able to access rail cars on both of these little sidings here that end, to be able to access, of course, containers on ships that come up, including if in the future I were to do a wider ship that can handle 3 of these side by side. So a little bit of consideration for the future, and also being able to just have the full range of motion that I want for this, which includes not only going end to end or in and out, but also side to side. Unfortunately, I am going to have to make a bricklink order again. This time because of those wheels, those small train wheels. They are perfect because this is actually a little sample of what I'm going to do for rail for those to go on. They'll actually straddle either side of the rail, and then this will be buried down almost flush with the ground, just like this. So this will be the ground level. I'll need to put a layer of plates down and then a layer of tiles. The originally planned layer of tiles will go on top of that. So it'll be just a little bit thicker. This will end up using a lot more parts than I had expected and wanted, but I think it'll be a good thing to be able to get this down in there. It'll also help me to not have the rails sticking up quite as far relative to the ground, but I have gotten the rails actually to line up now with studs here, so that's pretty important. But they will not be fully embedded into the ground. I hadn't considered the fact that I still want to float all of my rails around the whole city. So yeah, that'll be sticking up more than I expected. But I think this is the overall size that I'm going to stick with. It had to be pretty much this wide across in order to allow these containers through. So this is kind of an example of just the spacing. I need to have enough room for the container to be able to fit between there with a little bit of wiggle room on either side. Need the cab to have some clearance so it's still above the container when it is raised up above the ones that are at the highest level on the ship. And I don't know, I think it's a lot larger than I was expecting by a long shot, which is a good thing because I like the overall presence. I think I am going to go with the yellow color scheme, mostly because if you just take a quick look over here, you don't see a lot of yellow, which is strange given that this is Lego stuff. And I mean, I've got the crane over there. My construction equipment is yellow, but it's temporary. And you think of Lego. Yellow is one of their major colors. It's part of their corporate identity. So I think I'm going to do that rather than white. My original plan from years and years ago for this section was to use 2 container cranes for one dock, 2 side by side, and do them in white, inspired by the ones at the Port of Oakland, near or within range of where I used to live and see things on a fairly regular basis. But I think this is a better direction. I will not be putting one of those over here. I'm not going to do container operations on this side. This will have some other type of crane for loading and unloading, more irregular, maybe even 2 cranes there, small ones, possibly one with a bucket and then one with just a hook, just for a more irregular cargo. Smaller ships mostly will come up to that side, I think. But I think this dock over here will be just entirely reserved for container operations. And this dock is not all that large, honestly. I mean, it just has enough room to barely get a truck in there in addition to these 2 train lines. I did move the the rail, or redo the rail over here just a little bit from the last time you saw. I was able to bring the rail back out closer to the edge of the table here, which is a very good thing, because last time you saw, this switch was like there. So it would come out and then come in. So this is just a lot more compact, opens up more space, kind of reclaims more space for the Planetary Defense Force base, which is really important for me to give that as much space as is possible. This is already far too little space, honestly, for even the section of a base that I'm going to put there. But yeah, the more the merrier, definitely. The better, the more space I can reserve, the better. This is not the most realistic layout at all. Well, it's not realistic at all, to be honest, for how to get cars in and out here. You have to come right off the main line. Don't even have any lead between these two switches here, so that's not a good thing for actual operations. But you have to compromise. I just don't have unlimited space, and I do have a lot of things that I've planned for a long time that I want to include in this space, so I do what I can, and I make it work as much as possible. I think this is going to look pretty cool, especially from the lower angles. I need to work on the actual design for it. Again, this is just a mock-up, MOCK, and the finished one will definitely have some different styling to it, I'm sure. But I wanted to show you kind of the first step, first tangible step, first stage in building this thing, and hopefully next time it'll be a little more complete looking, a little more stout looking. I won't have the new wheels in probably by the next time I do an update on this. I'll just be using these ones with tires over here temporarily, but that's okay, because I don't think I'll get to the tiles anytime too soon. But that's just that. I wanted to show you, and now I've shown you, and now I'm going to get to work on some other stuff, including pretty soon getting back to this. I'll talk to you again soon. Cargo